Tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas is the largest documented outbreak in U.S. history. The CDC says TB is one of the world's leading deadly infectious diseases spreading from person to person through the air. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the latest.
Health officials in Kansas are dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis in U.S. history. There have been 2 deaths along with 67 active cases. TB is one of the world's leading infectious disease killer and is spread person to person by germs that can stay in the air for hours.
You do need prolonged contact with an infected individual. You know, if you briefly come into contact with somebody in the community, it's not very likely that you're going to contract tuberculosis. The exact reason for this specific outbreak is not yet clear.
Kansas public health officials found dozens more have latent TB, meaning they are infected with the TB bacteria, but they do not have symptoms and cannot spread the infection to others.
There is a TB vaccine. It leaves a little scar. It's commonly given to kids in countries where TB is common, but it hasn't been used here in the U.S. because historically the numbers have been so low. Diane?
All right, Eva Pilgrim, thank you. And Sarah Madad joins me now. She's an epidemiologist and the Chief Biopreparedness Officer at NYC Health and Hospitals. Sarah, thank you for coming on. Syra, rather, excuse me. What are the symptoms of tuberculosis? And can you explain how it spreads?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's important for us to state is that TB is curable, treatable, and preventable. It certainly is a serious infection. So when we look at different signs and symptoms, these symptoms can include prolonged cough, night sweats, chest pain, weight loss, and the like. But as we talk about how this bacterial infection spreads, it does spread through the air, but not through close contact. Most people who get TB, large majority, 90%, actually don't have any symptoms. And a small number, about 10%, that do have active TB disease, certainly can get treatment, and it could be, curable in that state. What's important is that when we talk about this unprecedented outbreak happening in the Kansas City metro area, I want to just put some of those numbers into perspective, because this is a TB resurgence here in the United States. So when we look at Kansas back in 2022, we saw about 52 cases in that entire year. And now we're only 1 month into this 2025 year, and we're already seeing 67 active cases. And we know that case number is going to continue to go up in Kansas. So it's important to understand that, this is a bacterial infection. It can be certainly serious, and it's important that we do early detection and treatment early on.
So what do you think's causing this outbreak, and how surprised are you to see it happening now?
It's not surprising. We live in a globalized world, but this is a worrisome trend because you're seeing this TB resurgence. It's unclear what certainly is causing this outbreak, but we know that many of these individuals may have come from overseas and may have had latent TB or active TB. And this is where it's really important to do that early identification and case management and contact tracing, and then providing that treatment. What's also important is that this treatment can take months, and so that treatment course is multiple different bacterial antibiotics, and you're taking it for an extended period of time. So adherence to the treatment is really important here.
And the CDC says there were nearly 9,000 TB cases last year nationally. So are vaccinations effective against it? How do we protect ourselves?
So we don't provide routine vaccination against TB in the United States because it's not a concern. It's certainly a growing concern now. So what's important is that, if you think you have TB, if you have these signs and symptoms, if you've been exposed to someone with TB, go ahead and contact a healthcare provider, get tested. You can do a skin test or a blood test. And then, if you're positive, you would be put on treatment.
All right, Sarah Madad, we appreciate your time today.